Well, welcome back to the Hartwell Hustle. And today, I have to say, I'm a little bit nervous about the person that we're interviewing today or we're talking to because he's the big guy. He's the big guy at Hart Telephone Company. He is the one who helps us all stay connected. I mean, on Hartwell Hustle, we talk about being connected in the community, but he is the one that really helps us far and wide stay connected in the area. And I thought it was important for us just to meet the person that does that. So today we are talking to Randy Daniel, who is the president of Hart Telephone Company. Welcome.
Thanks, Debbie. Glad to be here.
Good. I'm glad you're here. Okay, we're not going to talk about Hart Telephone Company just yet.
Okay.
I want to know about you. Tell us about you.
Okay, well, I'm native Hartwellian. I was born and raised here.
Oh, one of the few.
Spent my whole life here other than 6 years. I went to school at Mercer University in Macon.
Okay.
Then I worked as a CPA from there for a couple of years before I came back to Hartwell.
Okay. Did you major in communications?
I majored in accounting. I'm a CPA too.
Okay.
So I worked for a CPA firm for a while and did auditing, that kind of stuff. When I first came to Hart Telephone, I was the accounting manager.
Okay.
And sort of just been here long enough, they finally just made me president. But,
and when was that? When did you come to?
I came to Hart Telephone, let's see, right after I worked for 2 years in making the CPA firm, then I went to the old Hartwell Company, which was an apparel manufacturer.
Okay.
And I was there for about 3 or 4 years. And then one day I got a call from Lee Barton, who was the owner at the time of Hart Telephone. And he was looking for someone in the accounting department. To be honest with you, at first I was like, I'm in a big Hartwell company. I'm not really interested in going to a smaller company. But I met Lee, and the work sounded really interesting. He was really forward-thinking and progressive, and I said, that's be pretty exciting to be part of that. Plus, frankly, my boss at the Hartwell company is only like 2 or 3 years older than me, so I thought, well, it's a better opportunity here. So I made the move and been here now 30-something years. I can't remember exactly. So.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, well, thanks.
Congratulations. So what drew you, well, you're married?
Yes.
You have family?
Yeah. I was single until I was 46.
Oh, okay.
And I married Ruth Tolano at the time. And Ruth had 3 kids from her previous marriage. So I went from being single to being married with a 9, 6, and 4-year-old overnight. But it worked out great. The kids, all 3 kids are great. Ruth's been a wonderful wife. It's been the best thing I've ever done. So I really enjoyed that.
So you are truly rooted in Hartwell.
Yes, for sure.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, so what drew you to the Is it telecommunications? Is that the proper?
Yes, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, that, or sometimes referred to as the broadband industry now, because broadband is our big selling point. As a matter of fact, we probably have roughly close to 10,000 customers. The majority of those are broadband customers. When I say broadband, it's basically internet. Some sort of internet service.
Okay.
We still have about roughly 2,000 telephone customers on the books, but we are a broadband telecommunications company now. So.
Okay. And you all are going to have to forgive me because you don't know what you don't know. And for example, broadband,
right,
telephone,
right, yeah.
So you can correct me, and I'm okay with that. So you became president when?
2012.
2012. And I imagine you've seen a lot of changes.
Absolutely. When I first started here, we were mainly a telephone company. We had there was no cable TV, no internet service or anything like that. I came in 1990, I think it was. So when I first came, we had telephone customers. Today, like I mentioned earlier, we have maybe 2,000 of those left. 9,500 broadband customers or internet customers. That's probably what most people refer to it as. And we have cable TV. We have a little over 2,000 cable TV customers as well.
Okay.
Too, so. Okay. And then we also have some other services. We sell hosted voice over IP phone systems for businesses. We have
so say that again.
Hosted voice over IP, which is basically voice over internet protocol.
Okay.
Instead of the traditional how a voice service would go over, it basically goes over internet service.
Okay. And for commercial, you say that's
it's
for commercial?
For businesses,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have, I can't remember the numbers there, but probably over 1,000 hosted voice seats that we have over that. Plus, we also have some other little smaller ancillary services we offer too. We actually, our IT department will help small businesses with their IT needs if necessary. So we try to do everything we possibly can to help our customers. If it's all financially feasible and we think we can do it quality, in the telecommunications field, we will stick our hand in and try to do it if we can. So,
is there a growing? And this just popped in my head. It's not anything that was on my notes, but I saw something, on the internet. Yeah. Everything on the internet's true, right?
Right.
But I saw where there is things are going back to the telephone instead of, people are tired of holding their cell phones in their hands, and they're going back. There's a trend to go back to the telephone. Do you see that?
We haven't seen much of that. We'll occasionally have somebody reinstate their phone service that they didn't have. Mm-hmm. Most of the folks that we have our phone service, either they're in a kind of more of the rural county area and the cell service is really bad, mm-hmm. so they need to have that line there. Or a lot of businesses still want to have that hard line phone coming into it. Haven't seen too much of it, of people just mm-hmm. wanting to go back to their phone, but mm-hmm. we're happy to have that too.
Well, I know, just kind of as a side note, I was with my grandson last week, and his mom said, he's 3, said he's not getting a cell phone,
right,
all parents are, anytime, until he's whatever age. And she said, but I'd love to have a phone just so he could go over and pick up the phone and call y'all if he wanted to, that kind of thing. So I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. There may be something there.
Well, we used to have quite a few folks that we call it emergency lines. It was basically could call the phone company or could call like E911 or different things. So you just had it and I can't even remember as a matter of fact, it was kind of an add-on feature we had for some mm-hmm. customers. But so some people like to have that too.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So you talked about a little bit, and we'll get into that, but some of the new, some of the services that you offer. Mm-hmm. How do you decide for Hart Telephone Company? How do you decide what services to offer?
Well, we first want to see what's out there. So trade shows and conventions and different places, we kind of see. We have vendors that will come to us and tell us what's out there. So we'll take a look at those. We kind of try to look and see maybe what's been popular in other communities. We kind of look at what our techs are telling us maybe people have needs for. Mm-hmm. But like I said, if it's something we feel we can financially do and we feel like we can do it well, we will pretty much do anything. We'll do, we try to, not have too many services at once because it kind of overloads you. But like this year, we've added a couple of new services. One's called Smart Biz. Okay. It's for small businesses. It's kind of really for cybersecurity protection, but it allows you to allocate your network into 4 different networks. You could have one for your customers on Wi-Fi that come in, one to run your operations. Some customers don't have their point of sale on a separate one, and you may have one for employees. Anyway, you have up to 4 separate networks to keep customers coming into the business off of your network that runs your operations. So it also includes some internet firewalls and other cybersecurity features. So for like $25 a month, you can have all, most of the services you would have if you had an IT professional on staff.
Is that like if I go into a store or Walmart or whatever and want to get on their internet and I pull it up and there's like 5 different lines there? Is that kind of like that? Yeah,
it would be that because, if you're the business, you wouldn't want to have an open internet just for anybody to come and get access to your stuff. So this allows you to segment off and just allow the customer to be on their network so they can't get to any of your business records or anything.
Okay, so there are viewers out there of all ages. And, I guess we all have the question of how does Hart Telephone Company, and this just hit me, it's not in here either, but, sure. Everyone wants to be safe, wants to make sure they're safe. If they have internet at home through Hart Telephone Company, how can they be sure?
Well, we also have another product we used last year called Wi-Fi Assist. It lets parents have different parental controls on the, block certain sites and that kind of thing. We're actually evaluating a new product. We haven't decided to do it yet called Bark, and we're still in the process of looking at it to make sure we can do it reliably and well. But it would sort of notify if your children are going on places where they didn't need to go on the internet. So we're hoping we can introduce that soon. But the Wi-Fi Assist is probably be the best way to today to kind of monitor what your kids are doing. You can also have certain computers get a certain amount of speed, so you make sure they're not doing have what they need, but not more than they need, and kind of control your own network. So,
okay. Well, how did it get its name? Hart Telephone Company
for Hartwell,
Right.
it started out as Hart County Telephone Company.
Okay.
And then not long after I started in the early 90s, I guess the trend to be a little more modern at the time, take out the county and say Hart Telephone Company. And we changed it to HTC a few years ago because telephone is just a small part of our business anymore. We're more of a broadband company and some of those other services. So we try to say HTC now. A lot of people still call us the phone company, which is fine, but we have our brandings, all HTC logos and all that, just to kind of get away from the word telephone in the name.
I see. Okay. Well, that makes sense. I never really thought about that, but it makes sense. And how many employees do you have?
49.
49. So HTC is local.
Yeah.
Always has been. And tell me how you're involved in the community.
Me personally, I'm a member of the Kiwanis Club.
Okay.
A member of Cokesbury United Methodist Church. Very active in those. Also do Meals on Wheels.
And I'm sorry, I guess I should have said how HTC is involved in the community.
Well, we have, you may know Wendy McKinnon. Wendy McKinnon's our VP of External Relations. So she is sort of a representative. She's involved in Rotary Club, the Chamber of Commerce, Industrial Building Authority, in all kind of different aspects. We have other employees involved in as well too, but sort of one of Wendy's main duties is to represent HTC out in the community in different activities.
And I've seen where y'all sponsor, things in the community some.
Yeah, we pretty much sponsor. I mean, if you ask, we pretty much, give,
Right.
So we have.
Everywhere I go, I see HTC,
Yeah,
HTC. One thing as a realtor that I love and that is important to me is to get the word out when people move here about HTC and what all it offers. And one of the things I've learned coming on this show is, and Wes and I have talked about it, is getting the word out to people who have the internet, through HTC, and letting them know that they can go online and get on demand, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. So, I love telling people that. And, that's just one thing that we're working on. So if you don't know that and you have HTC internet or your internet through HTC, they just come up and get their password. Is that what they do?
Yeah.
And then what you're going to find is that you end up wanting the full station. But that's the way, this is Hartwell Hustle. And if you want to stay connected in this community, that's the way, because not only is it, and you're going to have to help me out here, not only is it just the periodic shows or the shows that are scheduled, they're everywhere. He's right. They're everywhere. They're at the county meetings, the city meetings. Tell us some of the things that y'all.
We have Wes Bailey, our video person, will do the county commissioner meetings, the city council meetings, the school board meetings, and of course there's your show, and then Back Talk Live, and then this week Doc Ayers show, then Brooke Spades has a show with financial advice. And then Charles Rice has a show giving gardening advice. So.
You can see there's a lot on there, and I love it. And Brooks introduced me to HTC or to the fact that the different shows and that kind of thing, other than city council and county commissioner meetings. So it's a great way to stay connected. And at the end of the show, we're going to pop up how you can, if you've got internet through HTC, then you can come up or whatever Wes puts up there for us to do. But just know that you can do that. Just say, I can't do that. I don't have TV through HTC. Yes, you heard him say they try to do everything that they can do.
Yeah.
So what's been the biggest change that you've seen over the years?
Well, I guess like I mentioned earlier, it was a phone company when I first started.
Okay.
That was it. People had I'm sure this probably maybe something people know, but the phone service would go over a twisted pair of copper going into your house. And for a while there, we first went to DSL, if you may remember that term, digital subscriber line. It was internet service over that same twisted pair of copper that we had going into the house. Well, that speed soon became outdated. It can only go up to really 15 by 2, which is a pretty low speed. So as time went by, we previously gotten into the cable TV business, and so you could carry internet service over coaxial cable, which is what cable TV goes over. And so that was pretty good for a while, but now fiber is what is needed. And so we're in the process of building fiber to all our customers. We're probably 70% done with that project. But sort of the biggest change, to answer your question, was going from a twisted pair copper phone service to now a fiber cable, which carries extremely high speeds, tons of data. It can carry video, data, and voice service all over the fiber.
Wow.
The cable web.
Yeah, I've seen the trucks out doing
Yes.
that and putting those lines in.
Yeah, it's been a multi-year project to redo our whole network into fiber. So we are, like I said, we're probably 70% done with the mainline construction. It's kind of a multi-pronged process. You obviously have to engineer it and stake it. Then you have crews that will come plow and drill in the ground. Then other crews put the cable in. Then you've got to splice the cable. Then you have another crew that will put the drops at the home. And then we have to go in and install it in the customer's home. So we're probably over 75% mainline construction, but it takes a while to get to everybody's home and schedule and get that installed. So we're probably a couple of years away from having everybody converted over to fiber.
So you're a numbers guy, which
Yes.
I mean, obviously that's beneficial to HTC. How did you become a technical guy? Because obviously you're talking about things I don't know.
I am not a technical guy. I just have really good people that work for us at HTC, and they kind of keep me informed and up to date. And I have probably said something wrong during what I'm saying here, but we do have really good folks that have been here a while, a lot of experience, really smart, and I rely on them heavily because I am not a technical person. So.
What are some of the challenges you've encountered?
Oh, wow. Probably, to be honest with you, the first challenge, as you may know, we used to own 𝐾𝐤𝐻 Golf Club. And when I first became president, we still own that.
I did not know that.
Yes, our owner, 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏, that was his dream. And he, I guess in 1996, we started that and built that club.
Okay.
It was part of, Lintel is the holding company that owns Hart Telephone and Hart Cable, and Lintel owned 𝐾𝐤𝐻 as well.
Okay.
So one learning to do accounting for the golf course, but then when I became president, we frankly could not make any money at 𝐾𝐤𝐻. And so we needed it off the books so that we could start our fiber project.
Right.
And trying to find a buyer and to get that, because we did not want to see it fold, because I think it's a very important asset for the community. We think it's great for Lee's legacy. So getting 𝐾𝐤𝐻 off the book so that we could kind of refinance and get things going with the fiber project, that's probably been the biggest challenge I faced here.
Wow.
So,
I always learn something new on these shows, and I didn't know that.
yeah.
So,
We were telecommunications people trying to run a golf course.
and you can't be all things to all people.
And it was, we made lots of mistakes.
Okay.
But that's where I started playing golf. So I think it's been great for our community. It's been great for me personally because I really enjoy playing golf. But it was not the greatest financial move we ever made, frankly. And so we had to get that asset off the book so that we could kind of move forward as a company where we needed to be.
Okay. What would be the most challenging service that you would say?
Definitely the most challenging, the most frustrating for sure is cable TV.
Why is that?
Our pricing, I think our most basic package is something like $109, I believe. But what we pay the programmers, we have basically a 50-cent margin on that. We pay over $108 for ABC, NBC, the Food Channel, all the different things that are on there. And so although the price is high for most people and a lot of people drop because of the price, I'm not making any money where I'm charging it today.
Right.
The other frustrating thing about it is we offer a lot of channels that people don't even really want or need and would like to choose their channels. Well, the problem is these are all packaged together by the programmers, and so I can't pick and choose. Just for example, if I want to carry ESPN, I'm required to carry ESPN2 and ESPN University and all the other, and ABC. So by the time you pick out the channels that are popular, although the channels you have to carry, then your price goes up really high. So, so we get a lot of complaints about that, especially when we had to drop all the Atlanta channels a few years ago, except for one. And the reason was they were going up like $5 per customer per channel on us. So I was going to go up $15 per month per customer just to keep the channels. And so a lot of people say, well, why don't you carry those instead of Greenville and Asheville? Well, we're required, the networks require us to carry the channel that's in what's called our market area, which is the Greenville and Asheville. So I have to carry those if I want to carry the Atlanta channels. I can't just pick Atlanta and not carry those. Okay. Of course, I don't know if I did that, there'd be people mad at Greenville, but I guess the point is that it would have added $15 to $20 to the bill had I not dropped those channels. So I'm in this position where the pricing is getting high for people, but I really don't have much control over what to do about that. So it is a very
And I think that's important for people to know is that, you and the company can't just pick and choose. It's packages that you have to purchase to offer. Yeah. Right?
Right. Well, it's like if we want to get a certain channel, the company that produces that channel, like, for example, if you want HGTV, then it comes with 5 or 6 other channels. They say, if you want to carry this one that's popular, you've got to carry these other 5 that nobody wants to watch. By the way, you have to pay for those as well. So we've had, years ago, we had discussions over and over and over about trying to redo our lineup to make it more affordable and what people wanted, and just could never find that magic way to do it. It is a frustrating business.
Where do you see the company going in the future?
Well, first, we've got to complete our fiber project. That's the big thing. And then as time goes by, we'll offer higher and higher speeds to our customers. Right now, we offer gig by gig service. I don't know if that means a lot to anybody, but that's the highest we offer. Right now, I don't know anybody that needs more than that. But coming in the future, if the futuristic predictors are right, you're going to need higher and higher speeds. And so once we get our fiber network completely built, then we'll start trying to up those speeds we offer to customers. The other thing that, and I'll probably be retired before we get in too much into this, but AI is the big buzzword now. And I think as time goes by, you'll say AI being more and more part of the network and different things. But I will probably not be here to see that. So.
Well, how do you mentor anyone? I mean, or what would you say to someone who wanted to get into this type of business? Someone who aspired to be president of HTC?
Well, it's kind of hard to say. I was thinking about that, and I never really aspired to be president. I don't know, recently my dad taught me this, and then years ago I saw an interview with Colin Powell said the same thing, that they asked how he became so successful, and he said he just did the task that was in front of him. He did this the best he could, and then an opportunity presented itself, and he did the best he could with that. But he had never had like a plan to go up to certain things. I never had a plan to be president of HTC or president of anything for that matter, but I always did, tried my very best to do the best I could with whatever the task was in front of me and learn as much as I could. So I would encourage anybody to, if you have an opportunity to do something new, give it a try, do your best, try to keep learning. One thing my dad always used to tell me was that there's a lot of things in life you can't control, but what you can't control is your effort and your attitude. And so control that, and then just don't worry about all the other stuff, and things will work out how they should,
That's great advice.
So that's kind of how I've tried to conduct my career. So,
that's great advice.
But one thing I will mention, though, if you are interested, the Chamber has a Leadership Heart program that I participated in. I think that's a really great program. If you're looking to get involved in the community or enhance your skills, I would recommend checking that out and seeing how that goes.
Okay, great. You mentioned going to trade shows.
Yes.
So obviously that's one way you determine what's going to be the next big thing, or how do you make the decision? Do you have a board, or how do you make the decision as to what the next big thing is going to be for HTC? Yeah,
we do have a board that I report to, and so we will each year we go through our strategic planning process. Usually in the next month or so, we will for 2026, and we will, as an executive team, we'll sit and discuss the different options we have, and we'll make a recommendation to the board, present a strategic plan, and ask them to approve that. And that will go along with the budget, depending on, it's kind of a interrelated, what you can do versus what your budget is, and what you can afford to do. So we'll put those two documents together and make sure that what we plan to do, we do have the resources to do it, ask the board for approval, and then once they do it, we move full speed ahead into it. So.
And are your board members all local?
Well, they're all family members of the Barton family.
Okay.
It's Lee's children and his widow.
Okay.
That's on the board. We also have a couple of myself and a couple other employees are on the board, and then we have an outside consultant. This works for actually president of our consulting firm we use a lot is on there as an advisor to the board to kind of help them make sure what I'm saying is accurate and correct. So.
What about service areas? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, how far out is?
Well, we're probably 80% of Hart County. We don't really serve all of Hart County.
Okay.
So we that, and we also have a service area up in Martin, Georgia. We have about 950 customers up there.
Okay.
We had back in the 90s. It was a cable TV company we purchased, and thinking that good part of it is on the lake up there. Thinking there could be some growth opportunities. It has been growing up there, so that's basically where we're at. I think a lot of people think we're all of Hart County, but we're not. I would like to be all of Hart County, but we've ran the numbers about 1 million times, and I can't figure out a way to make it work for us to build.
So, is that how you acquire? Is that how you acquire numbers? I mean, you buy a television. I mean, I don't know. How do you acquire?
Well, really, it's just the growth in our community. It's kind of really how we've been growing lately.
I mean, how did it skip to Martin?
I was a CFO at the time, and I'm not really sure, as our VP of operations at the time had a contact and somehow knew that was up for sale, and so he brought it to Lee at the time, was our president, our owner, and they just decided to go for it. And other than that, it's just basically, I'll say we have what's called our ILEC areas. Basically, years ago, we were established a certain area by the Federal Communications Commission. This is where you provide phone service at. And so that's pretty much where we're at. Now we have incrementally went outside of that. When we see like a neighborhood nearby that really needs service, we'll try to build, if at all feasibly possible. We've extended somewhat outside of that. We call it our ILEC territory. It's what we're obligated to and allowed to serve phone service in that area. So we've expanded a little bit out of that. The Martin area is not part of that. It's just completely deregulated, completely out of the FCC up there. So, so mainly our growth has been just, like I said, somewhat, incrementally extending out, but mainly just the growth in Hart over the last several years has really helped us a lot. So.
Okay, so it has. You mean people moving from the outside have actually helped?
Absolutely, yeah. We like people from outside moving in and getting new homes and that kind of thing. Yeah, so
great.
It definitely helps us.
Great. If there's anything that you've not, that we've not learned about today, you could say anything to the audience watching HTC. What about HTC?
I think the thing I'm most proud of is the employees we have at HTC. I think to a person, they're all dedicated. They make my job easy. They're not only competent at what they're doing, they really want to do a good job. And I think it's one advantage we have maybe over bigger national companies. Our employees live here and work here. They care about the community. They're dealing with their neighbors and friends and churches and that kind of thing. So that's what I think makes me most proud is when I think about our employees and the job they do here. So.
Great. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show.
Sure.
Thank you for putting up with my lack of knowledge about this topic. And again, someone moving here who has internet, you're probably going to, if you're watching this, you're going to have to pass the word and tell them, hey, you can go and you can watch these shows. I mean, heck, go get Channel 3.
Yes.
So anyway, but obviously you're a great leader and well respected in the community. And I just want to thank you for everything that HTC does for her.
Well, thanks for having me on, Debbie. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. And we will see you next time. I'm Debbie Henry with the Hartwell Hustle.